performance liquid chromatography is also called as high pressure liquid chromatography. So it is similar to liquid chromatography, nothing but column chromatography. It is similar to that of column chromatography, but in HPLC, the separation is more effective due to greater surface area achieved due to the very small particle size of the stationary phase in comparison to that of column chromatography. In column chromatography, whatever the stationary phase material, the particle size is more compared to the whatever the stationary phase material we are using in the high performance liquid chromatography. Here in HPLC, due to the availability of greater surface area, the compounds are effectively separated. And here in HPLC, we are pumping the mobile phase solvent with the high pressure. So due to high pressure of the mobile phase and due to the less particle size, the separation occurs in the very short period of time and occurs with the effective separation. The separation occurs effectively. So these are the advantages of the HPLC compared to the column chromatography. The placement of a small volume of liquid sample into a tube packed with porous particles, where individual components of samples are transported along the column by liquid moved by the pressure. Here, the mobile phase and the samples are moving towards the stationary phase of the column by applying the pressure. This is called as high performance liquid chromatography, as this technique is simple and able to detect the compounds at nanogram levels also. Compared to the column chromatography, here the high performance liquid chromatography will separate effectively all the compounds in the short period of time at nanogram levels also. So these are the advantages of high performance liquid chromatography compared to the column chromatography. So here less particle size of the stationary phase we are using. The mobile phase is pumping towards the column by using high pressure with the help of the pump. It is also called as high pressure liquid chromatography as mobile phase is pumped with the high pressure. High performance liquid chromatography has the ability to separate, identify, and quantify the compounds that are present in any sample that can is dissolved in a liquid. In high performance liquid chromatography, we are injecting the sample in the form of a liquid. So with the help of the one injection port, we are injecting the liquid sample into the flow of the mobile phase. So the sample is dissolved in the mobile phase. The sample and the mobile phase, they are mixing together and passing towards the or moving towards the stationary phase material, nothing but column. Nowadays, most of the compounds in the nanogram levels are trace concentrations are easily identified and determined by using this high performance liquid chromatography. The principles of high performance liquid chromatography is similar to the column chromatography, but in HPLC, the separation is more effective due to the greater surface area because of the smaller particle size of the stationary phase material, and the separation of the compounds is due to their relative affinity or difference in travel through the column on application of the pressure exerted through the mobile phase or carrying liquid. Here the mobile phase is the also carried as carrying solvent. We are applying with the high pressure. So the separation of the compounds occurs due to the relative difference of the interaction with the stationary phase while we are applying the pressure. The compounds of the mixture travels with different rates due to the relative affinity with the solvent and the stationary phase. Depending upon their relative affinity towards the stationary phase solvent, they will be travels with different rates. The compounds with higher affinity towards the stationary phase of the column travel slowly, so they will be eluted later. So this is the principle involved in the high performance liquid chromatography. The principle similar to the column, but two main criteria we are using is less particle size and we are applying the high pressure. Because of this, effective separation will be occurs within the short period of time. So we have different type of HPLC techniques nowadays we are using. So we are classifying the HPLC techniques based on the mode of chromatography. The mode of chromatography, two types are there, normal phase and reverse phase. In normal phase chromatography, HPLC technique, stationary phase is polar, mobile phase is non-polar. In reverse phase, the stationary phase is non-polar, mobile phase is polar. Principle of separation. What type of principle we are using for the separation of the compounds? In the most cases, we are using the absorption. Apart from that, we are having different principle of separations. Ion exchange HPLC will be there. Ion pair, gel permeation chromatography, affinity chromatography, and chiral phase chromatography we are using. Type of illusion, depending upon the type of illusion. So how we are using the mobile phase, in what proportion we are using mobile phase, based on that we are having two types of illusion HPLC techniques: isocratic illusion HPLC technique, gradient illusion HPLC technique. In isocratic illusion HPLC technique, we are using the same polar, same proportion mobile phase from starting to ending of the separation of all the compounds in a mixture. But in gradient elution HPLC technique, gradually we are increasing the proportion of the polar solvent in the mobile phase. That's why we are increasing the polarity of the mobile phase to effective separation of the all the compounds with the better resolution. Next, scale of operation. Based on scale of operation, two types of HPLCs are there: analytical HPLC, preparative HPLC. In this analytical HPLC, just we can identify purpose for detection purpose we are using. The preparative HPLC, we can recover the sample. After experiment, we can recover the sample. So this is the preparative HPLC. These are the different type of HPLC techniques nowadays we are using in the pharmaceutical industries. So what are the advantages of the HPLC over the remaining chromatography techniques, like traditional chromatography techniques like paper chromatography, column chromatography, thin layer chromatography, capable of handling macromolecules, suitable for all the pharmaceutical compounds and the natural products, inorganic and organic ionic species, and for the biochemical analysis. In most cases, nowadays we are using for diabetes. In this diabetes or in the sugar patients, we have to determine the level of glucose or level of carbohydrates present in the blood. One test we are using, HbA1c test. So this HbA1c test will provide the carbohydrate level from the around 2 to 3 months level. For that purpose, we are using the technique to detect the level of carbohydrates or glucose levels in the blood. We are using this HPLC technique. Components of HPLC system. The components are nothing but instrumentation. What are the different parts of HPLC system is mobile phase reservoir, degassing unit, HPLC pumps, mixing valves, sample injector, guard column, column is nothing but analytical column woven, detector, recorder and integrators, and mobile phase wastage container. These are the different components in a normal and a conventional HPLC system.